Wind up, Jason! Your work isn't finished!
This is a one-time gig. When it's done, we're done.
Let's dance, asshole!
So we have finally reached Friday, guys, so this is going to be our last video of the week, and I wanted to end off this week right. I wanted to talk about another cartoon that I watched around the same time when I was watching Adventure Time and Regular Show, because this show in particular came out around the right time when all of these other shows were popping, just like the two that I mentioned. So I had to make a video talking about the Amazing World of Gumball today, because this was a very fun show. I always laughed my ass off every single time I was watching Gumball, and we'll get into all that good stuff later. But this show was so memorable, and it's still going on. Kudos to Amazing Gumball for still being on, because it makes me really happy that a cartoon from that era is still ongoing, so that puts a big smile on my face. But I just want to share, all my thoughts when it comes to this show, because this show was very unique for what it was, and I'm super excited to get into it. But before I get into this discussion talking about Gumball, if you guys have any thoughts of your own that you guys want to share when it comes to this show, or even if you guys have any suggestions of other cartoons that you want me to talk about on the channel, you should have let me know in the comment section down below. So probably the very first thing that I do want to touch on, which tends to be a common topic whenever I talk about a lot of these cartoons, but it makes sense because a lot of these cartoons stand out that make them unique in their own special way. I want to talk about the unique animation style when it comes to Gumball, because it's honestly quite ironic that I'm making a video on Gumball today, because last Friday we talked about Flapjack, and that's another show that's very similar to Gumball that had all these different kinds of animation styles put into it, so there's definitely a good comparison there. And I also want to talk about a lot of the quirky characters in Gumball, because the characters in Gumball is what made the show, and I definitely do have some thoughts to share on all of that. Since we were just talking about the animation style, the Amazing World of Gumball stands out for its unique blend of animation styles when it comes to the mixed 2D animation of CGI, the stop motion, the puppetry, and the live action backgrounds. And this visual diversity makes every episode feel fresh and visually engaging, because you have characters like Gumball and Darwin that move in 2D, while others such as, various robots and creatures are rendered in 3D, adding layers of texture and depth to the show's look. And the contrast of animation styles gives the show its unique aesthetic, making it visually different from anything else on TV. And these oddball personalities contribute to the show's humor and depth when it comes to Darwin, Gumball's best friend, who serves as both a comedic foil and a source of innocence that contrasts Gumball's mischievous nature, and Anais, which happens to be Gumball's intelligent younger sister, plays the role of a grounded one in the chaos that surrounds the Watterson family. And together, their interactions and the variety of personalities that they encounter bring layers of comedic energy and unpredictability to the show. And like I discussed earlier when I was talking about Gumball earlier in the video, I was mentioning how Gumball was a show that made me laugh my ass off every single time. And it's the truth. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I used to laugh my ass off when I was watching this show. Like, Gumball always did the right thing to always make me laugh whenever I was watching the show, because of its relatable humor, because there was so many different scenarios that played out within this show that just made me think like, okay, I actually been there in that moment, so I know exactly what the show is doing. And that was just the best thing about Gumball, is that it was so creative when it came to various things that was being thrown at us within the show. Because one of the most enjoyable aspects of Gumball is how it makes the surreal humor relatable, and the show often parodies everyday situations that viewers experience, from the stress of school to frustrations with technology. Gumball's exaggerated responses to everyday annoyances like homework or sibling rivalry reflect emotions that are familiar to anyone watching, and these everyday inconveniences wrapped in obscurity that make the humor connect with the audience. And the show frequently makes satirical observations on modern life, consumerism, and technology, and it even addresses issues like the over-reliance on technology and the obsession of appearance and societal pressure to conform, all wrapped in lighthearted and exaggerated scenarios, and the satire of these aspects on modern life is subtle yet clear, allowing the show to address serious topics without losing its playful tone. One of the other things that stood out with this show was the random storylines that was introduced to us, because Gumball was a show where whenever you were jumping in to watch an episode for the very first time, you didn't really know what to expect, because Gumball just threw all these different kinds of things at you, and you had to really just go with the flow. Like, you just had to go with the flow, watch the show, and see what happens. And on top of that, when it came to, like I discussed, the random storylines, they always used to break the fourth wall in Gumball, which is something that I absolutely love whenever I'm watching a show or a cartoon. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why I love Gumball, because of how self-aware he is. So I'm glad that Gumball is another show that's very self-aware when it comes to the kind of things that it's doing in the show. Because getting more in depth with this, one of the most defining traits of Gumball is its fast-paced and unpredictable storytelling, because every episode takes viewers on a wild ride, often starting with a simple premise and quickly spiraling into chaotic, fantastical scenarios, because a regular day can escalate into an epic journey, with Gumball and Darwin finding themselves in bizarre and unexpected situations that stretch the boundaries of reality. And the show's ability to flip everyday situations into surreal, high-stake adventures keeps viewers on their toes and eager to see what happens next. And the show frequently acknowledges its audience and references the fact that it's a cartoon, and even mocks its own storytelling structure. And characters sometimes comment on the ridiculousness of their own situations or directly address the viewers, creating moments that feel more interactive and engaging. And this self-awareness gives the show a playful edge that makes it more dynamic than traditional cartoons. And now getting to the other part of Gumball that we need to talk about, because for the most part, Gumball is known for a show that just does all these obscure things, but when it really comes down to it, what really makes the show, like I mentioned, when it comes to the quirky characters, on top of that as well, is the strong family dynamics when it comes to the Watterson family, as well as the emotional depth that is put into the show as well. Because at the heart of Gumball, like I said, is the Watterson family, whose chaotic yet loving dynamic gives the show much of its emotional core. Gumball, his brother Darwin, and his sister Anais, and their parents Nicole and Richard Watterson are often at the center of the series' zany adventures. And despite their dysfunctionality, the Wattersons' bond is strong, and their interactions are both hilarious and heartwarming. Whether they're dealing with everyday family issues or supporting each other during chaotic events, the Wattersons consistently showcase the importance of family, even in the craziest moments. And beneath its absurd humor, Gumball often carries emotional weight, especially in episodes that delve into the characters' personal struggles, because at times, the show takes a step back from its chaotic energy to focus on deeper themes like family, friendship, and self-discovery. And characters may face moments of introspection where they grapple with important life choices or learn valuable lessons about themselves and others. And that's something that I can really appreciate with the show, because of course I'm always going to be laughing every single time I'm watching this show, because like I said, Gumball does the humor right. But at times when it comes to us wanting to know about these characters a little bit more and to get closer to them on a deeper level, when it comes to how the show orchestrates the family bond between the Wattersons and the emotional depth that gets put into these characters, is also just another great thing to see. Because when it comes to my shows as well, I love that investment that I have when it comes to following these characters' journeys throughout the show, and I always love how in-depth a lot of these characters can be, and that's something that I can appreciate that Gumball does, despite all the humor that we see on the show every single time. Probably the last thing that I do want to touch on when it comes to Gumball is a lot of the pop cultural references to the show, because there definitely is a lot that stands out. And just like how we went over recently when it came to the strong family bond between the Wattersons and also the emotional depth that's put into the series as well, I also want to take some time to talk about the life lessons that is also showcased within the series as well. Because Gumball is filled with clever pop culture references when it comes to movies, to internet culture, just making it relevant for a wide range of viewers. And the show integrates these references seamlessly into its storytelling, often using them as a way to connect with its older audience. And it frequently nods to classic films, TV shows, and video games, while also incorporating current trends. And these cultural touchstones add a layer of humor for those familiar with them and keep the show feeling current. And although Gumball is known for its silliness, the show often carries subtle lessons for viewers because characters regularly face dilemmas that require them to make choices about honesty, responsibility, and perseverance. And through its obscured plots, the show imparts valuable messages about growing up and learning from one's mistakes, whether it's learning for the value of hard work or understanding the importance of kindness. And these moral lessons are woven into the fabric of the show's humor. And the Amazing World of Gumball just offers an exciting mix of creativity, humor, and heart, and its ability to blend unique animation styles, relatable humor, and emotional depth that keeps the show engaging for both kids and adults. And the unpredictability of its storylines combined with quirky characters and clever social commentary creates an animated series that goes beyond the typical cartoon. And with each episode, the show proves itself to be fun, thought-provoking, and a highly enjoyable experience, making it a standout among modern animated series. But other than that, that's honestly all I have to really say about Gumball today. I'm just glad that I had the opportunity to talk about this show today because, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this was another show that I used to watch all the time whenever regular show and Adventure Time was airing. And around that time, it was pretty much like the big three of Cartoon Network when it came to a lot of those popular shows that was going on throughout the 2010s. And Gumball definitely was one of those shows that made an impact that definitely allowed it to stand out. And it's great that it's still running till this day. I mean, even after making this video, it really makes me want to just sit on my couch and watch an episode of Gumball and just bring me back to those days when I watched the show for the very first time, because there's just so many memorable experiences that I had with the show that I am very thankful for. So if you guys have any thoughts of your own when it comes to the Gumball series, like if there's anything in particular that you guys want to say about it, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below and we could talk about it. And if you guys enjoyed this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you guys want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out my Twitter, my Facebook, my TikTok, and my Instagram. All of that is located in the description below. And if you guys want to be notified whenever I upload a video on the channel, be sure to click on that bell below. But other than that, I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, whatever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.